The artist is Charlie Brenman, and the title of that song is "You Are Made in God's Image and Likeness." So what does that mean to you? Do you believe that it's true? It is our divine birthright to be whole, perfect, and complete, which is the title of my talk this morning. If we are experiencing anything else, it is simply a belief in a sense of separation, that we could be separate from that divine source. And the enlightenment of our individual soul, as well as the unfoldment of the unique expression that we are as spirit, as well as the evolution of our collective consciousness, can only be experienced to the degree that we believe in the illumination of the divine through us. If we think of the divine as unlimited conscious life, one infinite personality within which all of our personalities exist. In our individual world, it is the personal use that we make of it. In our collective world, it is the unified application of that energy, or what becomes what is known as the race consciousness or the race mind. And unbeknownst to many, we carry around in our mentality the combined thoughts of all who have ever lived upon planet Earth. And this creates a thought system or a thought atmosphere, or what they're referring to now as a grid that surrounds Mother Earth. And there is a tendency, because of those beliefs, to carry forth the same accumulated subjective belief system. But we do have the ability to shift our experience. And Dr. Ernest Holmes talked about this in his very last message, the Sermon by the Sea, when he asked for 1,000 practitioners to be doing the work. And what he said about that was, when that would happen, he would see a new earth. He was so far ahead of his time. This is what we're talking about now. This is what we're creating together. Holmes said that the answer to every question is within man, because man is within spirit, and spirit is an indivisible whole. So how do we get a greater realization of what we already know, of what we have within us as that divine spark that wants to be birthed? It's simple. We have to go deeper into our own consciousness. We have to discover the infinite realities of our divine nature. The thing that we have been looking for outside of ourselves is the thing that we are looking with. And as we enter into a new level of unity, especially this month as the geomagnetic storms are intensifying and there are more waves of solar plasma influxes entering into our universe, it's important to get grounded, to override the anxieties and the doubts, to begin to really settle in to trust in that creative process, and to create balance within our world. And the tools that we share here that help one to do that are prayer, meditation, communing with Mother Nature, visioning, journaling, and so on. Many, many different ways to deepen your practice. The unity of God and man is the ultimate truth. And the veil, of course, is getting thinner and thinner. And this is what we're referring to when you hear about building the rainbow bridges to the new earth. We are building a consciousness that is birthed from a place of love, unity, peace, and harmony. Our conscious intelligence is the use that we make of that one mind. As much of life as we can actively understand, as we embody higher levels of that light that is coming in, changes everything, not only personally, but also collectively. We live within a perfect universe amongst people who are potentially perfect. When we refuse to believe in the opposite, time as we know it will prove that what appears to be imperfect will fall away. Dr. Holmes teaches us that discord, misery, and unhappiness are the result of a misuse of our true nature, a result of ignorance. So even though we sometimes experience lack or limitation, when we focus our thoughts upon that negative energy, we doubt the very nature of the divine. There is no power apart from God. The idea of the devil, when you spell it backwards, is simply living backwards. D-E-V-I-L is L-I-V-E-D. So you're simply living backwards if you continue to participate in that negative energy. And I remember my mentor, Dr. Arlene, telling the story of Raymond Charles Barker and Dr. Ernest Holmes passing on the pathway at Asilomar. And Raymond was carrying a box of Kleenex. And he had an incredible cold. And Dr. Holmes walked up to him and he said, "Raymond, how long are you planning on keeping that cold? Carry a box of tissues. You could have it for 2 or 3 weeks, depending on the size of the box. So it's done unto us as we believe." And Sherry Brenman sang, "If you try, you'll see how God is seeing you. Come look and see how beautiful you are in the mirror reflection. You are God's bright, shining star." So whenever someone holds a mental equivalent or a thought atmosphere of lack or limitation, whatever they possess is taken from them, which is why our affirmations are so important, to begin to embody a new belief system, to flex our spiritual muscle. Are you ready to do the work? All right, let's affirm together. All things are possible in the mind of God.
All things are possible in the mind of God.
My life is an expression of God.
My life is an expression of God.
Therefore, all things are possible in my experience.
All things are possible in my experience.
This or something better is what I choose.
This or something better is what I choose.
And so it is. So to those who believe only in failure, the divine still works. It just works by appearing not to work which is the logical outpicturing of their belief system. So it's important to affirm positive beliefs about our ability to manifest our dreams and our desires. Communion with this higher ideal is experienced in all of life. It is our connection to all that is. It is what you are, and it is what I am. And Gary Simmons, in his book entitled The Eye of the Storm, says that communion means being connected to life and to God. So God is accessible to all people, regardless of color, creed, socioeconomic backgrounds, alternative lifestyles, different religions, different belief systems. There is nothing that can hinder the divine as it manifests. And we are centers of light within this oneness. And a positive conviction of that inner power enables us to answer our divine calling. When we think that seeing is believing, and we rely upon our perception, we are focused on engaging in the material world rather than focusing upon the spiritual world, which is where our creative power emanates from. If we could see the consciousness of a successful person, conviction would be written in bold letters right across. They would be unwavering in their beliefs. And this is what the Science of Mind teaching does for me. And I'm sure for you, because you're here this morning. It helps us to learn how to harness the power of our thinking, to expand the idea of our oneness, to exercise the power and the presence of our beliefs. And you know how I love my animals. So I was up at Mesa Point, which of course is my favorite place to meditate. And I was there for quite a while. And nothing presented itself. And I thought, well, what's up with this? So I got up and started heading down the mountain. And I was drawn to this particular rock because it was the one I was holding on to get over kind of a steep part. And I realized that that particular rock was a lava rock and that there were bubbles everywhere in the rock. And so the message I heard was just breathe. And so I did. I took a nice deep cleansing breath. And I made my way down the rest of the mountain. And as I was exiting, there was a chipmunk who showed me his back end. So how dare I think that I'm in charge, that it's supposed to happen in my timeline? That's why we say this or something better is what I choose. And the chipmunk reminds us to be curious, to be willing to investigate anything of interest that comes our way. And I want you to know that we have investigated every avenue possible. The lease has been signed, and it has been sent to the powers that be that are facilitating the shopping center and the shareholders and all of that stuff. And we'll share a little bit more about that during the fellowship. But what's important is that we believe that we have made the best possible choice for our spiritual family. And that's what your board of trustees and I do together. The chipmunk also reminds us that one should trust that they are well protected, that there is no danger that we will have to face. So if it's ours to do, show us the magic. Let's affirm together. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run the show. And so it is. So how could life be different if we were able to ask for what we choose and to live from that expectation? Who would the I am that I am really be? Who would the I am that you are really be? Who would the I am that we are collectively really be? Holmes teaches us that the secret of spiritual power lies in a consciousness of one's union with the whole and our union with the availability of the good. What can we envision for ourselves? What can we embody? What does our center look like as we birth West Side into expression? Reconciling the apparent separation of the material world, which appears to be imperfect, with the spiritual world, which is always perfect at all times, is the gift of our teaching. Being able to use the power of the mind to create our experience. We study the marriage of science, religion, and spirituality. When Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote that in the opening paragraph of the Science of Mind textbook in 1926, it was a foreign concept. Now we're doing it. So to be made in the image of God, to be made in the image and likeness, is to start with an idea of God that is an ever-present good. Infinitely pleased with everything she has made, including a pure and perfect you and a pure and perfect me. We are a center within that divine expression. And we live and move and have our being in the midst of an infinite universe. Show the world what it means to live in that truth. The nature of reality cannot change. But the tricky part is that it's up to us to embody the greater good. And when we do, everything shifts. So regardless of whatever situation we find ourselves in, even when appearances don't yet reflect that belief, it's important to continue to affirm that all is good, that all is God. So do whatever it takes to illuminate that divine spark that is within you. Envision the infinite possibilities flowing through you. And affirm with me, I am always whole, perfect, and complete. It's all good, it's all God. And so it is. Thank you, and namaste.